Welcome to Emperor of Estates. If you're working toward your CAM license, this lesson is your guide to one of the most powerful housing laws in America. Today, we dive into the Fair Housing Act, a law that protects rights, promotes fairness, and guides every CAM's duty. What is the Fair Housing Act? The Federal Fair Housing Act, FHA, is a federal law that prevents housing discrimination. It protects not just buyers and renters, but anyone associated with them. It prohibits refusal to sell or rent. It prohibits false denials of availability. It prohibits setting different terms, services, or conditions based on personal characteristics. It also prohibits advertisements that express a preference, exclusion, or limitation. Purpose of the Fair Housing Act, FS 760.21. It is the public policy of Florida to provide for fair housing throughout the state. This is done within the limits of the Florida and U.S. constitutions. Protected categories. Under the FHA, it is unlawful to discriminate based on race, color, national origin, religion, sex, handicap, disability, familial status. Understanding familial status, FS 760.22. Familial status includes families with children under 18. It also includes pregnant women or guardians with legal custody of minors. It even includes designees with written permission to care for children. Example, a rule that bans children under 18 from using the pool or clubhouse is discriminatory. That rule would be illegal under the Fair Housing Act. Disability protections and accessibility. Disability includes physical or mental impairments that substantially limit major life activities. The law requires reasonable accommodations in rules, policies, and services. It also requires reasonable modifications to common areas or individual units. CAMs must ensure shared spaces are readily accessible and usable by disabled persons. This includes compliance with ANSE A117.1 1986 standards for accessibility. An accessible route into and through the dwelling is required. Real-world example. Imagine a wheelchair user requests a ramp be installed near the clubhouse entrance. The CAM cannot deny the request if it's a reasonable modification. The board must allow the resident to make this change, often at the resident's expense. Now imagine a rule bans all children under 14 from entering the pool area. That rule violates familial status protections and exposes the association to a lawsuit. As a CAM, you must recognize and correct these violations immediately. Filing civil actions in Florida. Under the Florida Fair Housing Act, a person may file a civil action even before finishing administrative steps. They may file a complaint with the Florida Commission on Human Relations, FCHR, or they may go directly to court, even if the FCHR hasn't finished its process. Discriminatory language in public records. Despite these laws, some counties still have discriminatory covenants in recorded documents. These can appear in deeds, titles, and association documents. As of September 2020, such language can be removed by a simple majority vote of the board. If discriminatory language exists in your documents, it is null and void by law. But CAMs should still advise the board to remove such language to avoid confusion or lawsuits. Exemptions to the Fair Housing Act. Some types of housing or ownership are exempt from FHA protections, but only under specific conditions. Exemption 1. Housing for older persons. Housing is exempt if it is registered with the Florida Commission on Human Relations. The community must either be solely occupied by persons 62 years or older, or be operated for residents 55 years or older, with at least 80% of units occupied by someone 55 plus. A recent Florida law removed the need for biannual registration for 55 plus communities. It also eliminated fees and gave the Attorney General more time to resolve complaints. However, federal requirements still apply, and registration is still a best practice. Exemption 2. Private single-family sales. FS 760.29. A home may be sold or rented without FHA compliance if the owner sells without using a realtor or real estate services. The owner does not advertise in a discriminatory way. The owner owns no more than 3 single-family homes. The owner does not live in any of the homes. Exemption 3. Religious organizations and private clubs. Religious organizations may rent or sell to members of the same faith only, unless the religion restricts membership based on race, color, or national origin. Private clubs may limit rentals or occupancy to their own members, so long as housing is not operated for commercial purposes. Exemption 4. Owner-occupied 3 or 4 unit buildings. If an owner lives in one unit of a building with 4 or fewer total units, the FHA does not apply. The exemption only exists when the owner personally occupies one of the units. Quick recap. The Fair Housing Act prevents discrimination in housing. It protects 7 specific groups, called protected classes. KAMs must allow reasonable accommodations and remove unlawful restrictions. Violations can lead to complaints, lawsuits, or fines. Then exemptions exist, but most KAM communities must comply fully. Motivation for KAM students. You are not just managing real estate. You are protecting the freedom, dignity, and equality of every resident. You are the bridge between law and community, and the Fair Housing Act is one of your most powerful tools. Final call to action: master this law and serve with strength, fairness, and heart. Be the KAM who leads with principle and protects with purpose. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Emperor of Estates for more insights into #FloridaKAM, #Fair Housing Act, and #KAM training. Let us know your questions and stories in the comments. KAM license, #Fair Housing Act, #Florida law, #community management, #housing equality, #KAM exam prep, #disability rights, #familial status, #Emperor of Estates. Thank you for watching. For more great content, be sure to explore our other channels. Emperor University, Emperor Artificial Intelligence, AI, Emperor Science and Fiction, Sci-Fi, Emperor Nature, Emperor Aviation, Emperor Entertainment, and Emperor Music. Links to each channel are in the description below.